Looking at the ruins of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, you wouldn't expect to find much life. The extreme levels of ionizing radiation here tear apart the DNA of most living organisms, rendering the immediate area completely sterile. But deep inside the reactor walls, scientists found a biological anomaly, a dark, highly pigmented fungus called Cladosporium sphaerospermum. Instead of being destroyed by the lethal environment, the fungus actively absorbs the ambient radiation to aggressively accelerate its own growth. Finding an organism that flourishes on destructive energy forces us to rethink the limits of extreme biology. If life can turn deadly radiation into a resource, we can weaponize that ability to solve a major engineering problem. That problem is deep space exploration. For astronauts journeying to Mars, cosmic radiation remains the absolute greatest biological threat. Engineers traditionally block radiation with dense mass, using thick slabs of lead or heavy tanks of water. But launching massive quantities of inert, heavy materials out of Earth's gravity well is financially and logistically impossible. We know certain extreme organisms can survive out there. Tardigrades, or water bears, are famous for surviving the vacuum of space. But they accomplish this by shutting down completely into a dormant, cryptobiotic state. A sleeping, passive organism offers zero protection to a human crew. To physically shield humans in deep space, humanity requires a barrier that actively fights back and regenerates. The secret to this fungal resilience comes down to a massive concentration of a single highly familiar compound, melanin. It is the exact same pigment that determines human skin color and protects us from sunburns. In the vacuum of space, heavily concentrated melanin acts as physical armor. As incoming, high-energy ionizing radiation hits the fungal cells, the dense melanin lattice safely deflects and scatters the waves, protecting the internal DNA from destruction. Biology has naturally evolved a microscopic radiation-blocking shield that achieves the exact same result we usually rely on heavy industrial metals to produce. This split-screen diagram illustrates the core hypothesis of how the fungus fuels itself, a process known as radiosynthesis. On the left, you see how plants use photosynthesis to capture light rays and convert them into food. On the right, you see the fungal equivalent. The fungus effectively eats radiation. It uses its melanin to convert those lethal ionizing waves directly into chemical energy to fuel its own metabolic growth. To test if this theory held up outside of Earth's atmosphere, scientists launched a culture of the fungus to the International Space Station in 2018. Bathed in the cosmic rays of orbit for an entire month, the space-bound fungus grew 21% faster than the exact same strain kept in a control group on Earth. This cross-section graphic visualizes the most crucial finding. Sensors revealed that a microscopic layer of the fungus, just 1.7 millimeters thick, measurably dropped the radiation levels beneath it compared to an empty dish. The space station data effectively transitioned radiosynthesis from a biological quirk into a proven, deployable technology for space exploration. Looking at the barren surface of Mars, the ultimate goal for settlers will be building habitats protected from the harsh cosmic environment above. Instead of flying thousands of tons of metal and lead to another planet, astronauts could employ a strategy called in situ resource utilization. They bring lightweight, dormant fungal spores from Earth and mix them directly with local Martian soil to grow their infrastructure on site. This scale diagram projects the math from the ISS data forward. If engineers expand that initial millimeter-thin layer into a 21-centimeter-thick wall of this fungal soil mixture, it could completely negate ambient Martian surface radiation. By swapping hundreds of millions of dollars in dead payload mass for a few ounces of spores, settlers can utilize a biological shield that builds and heals itself. But unlike inert concrete or metal plating, this proposed radiation shield is a living, breathing organism. That introduces a massive logistical burden. The walls of the habitat require their own dedicated life support, constant moisture, nutrients, and strict biological containment so they don't infect the crew. It also presents an unsettling reality. You are completely enclosed within a rapidly growing organism that actively feeds on the universe's deadliest energy. If our survival on other planets dictates that we encapsulate ourselves inside the belly of a hungry black fungus, are we truly the masters of our Martian habitats, or are we simply tenants, kept alive by a massive alien ecosystem?